time, we as humans have developed a different attitude towards nature, and we've forgotten about our inner power. This is the ability of our body to adapt to extreme temperatures and survive within our natural environment. Because we wear clothes and artificially control the temperature at home and at work, we've greatly reduced the natural stimulation of our bodies, atrophying the age-old mechanism related to our survival and basic function. Because these deeper psychological layers are no longer triggered, our bodies are no longer in touch with the inner power. The inner power is a powerful force that can be reawakened by stimulating these psychological processes. When everything is geared to be more comfortable and easier, we begin to think that we need that in all areas of our life. But comfortable has a downside, or rather, discomfort has a contributive upside. The more discomfort you introduce to your life, the more your comfort zone will expand. This is a whole lot more valuable than any cozy night on the couch. Emotions motivate us to do something. This may involve taking action that will alter a negative mood or reduce stress. Unlike fear, an emotion that immediately motivates you to defend yourself, emotions such as anxiety or distress are accompanied by a lot of ambiguity as far as the direction that they lead you. Comfort seeking, in all of our various forms, is a plausible action. However, under the guise of comfort yourself, you may be misguided. Obvious examples of injudicious comfort seeking are when you tell yourself you're stressed and need a drink, or that you must have comfort food to calm your nerves. You may not be aware of erroneously seeking comfort if you bite your nails or engage in other compulsive habits. And you may not recognize a mistaken search for comfort when you are tempted to contact an ex-partner. Alcohol as substances help you weigh looking at the issue that leads you to seek comfort. For the moment you may imagine you have found relief, but you have only embarrassed avoidance. Unfortunately, comfort foods are similar. Rather than endure anxiety, stress, or shame, comfort foods are used for temporary avoidance. As with using alcohol or other mind-altering substances, your mood may improve for the moment, but be worse later. Humans are capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for, and you are not completely in control of your life. It ties into a concept David Goggins learned in the Navy SEALs, called the 30% rule. When your mind is telling you you're done, you're really only 40% done. The philosopher Nietzsche experienced long bouts of illness and pain in his life, and wrote much about the meaning of pain as it relates to the meaning of life in general. Among his more famous quotes are one specifically related to pain. Did you ever say yes to a pleasure? Oh, my friends, then you also said yes to all pain. All things are linked, invitant, in love with one another. What does not kill me makes me stronger. Life is a series of events linked to good and bad. The bad makes the good better, and the good makes the bad seem worse. It is the yin and yang, the up and down, the good and evil, the universal principle of the hermetic teachings, the principle of polarity. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has a pair of opposites, like and unlike, all the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled.
Once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer who lost a horse, ran away. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "That's too bad." And he said, "Maybe." The next day the horse came back and brought 7 wild horses with it. And all the neighbors came around and said, "Why, that's great, isn't it?" And he said, "Maybe." The next day, his son was attempting to tame one of these horses and was riding it and was thrown and broke his leg. And all the neighbors came round in the evening and said, "Well, that's too bad, isn't it?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." And the next day, the conscription officers came around looking for people for the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And all the neighbors came round that evening and said, "Isn't that wonderful?" And he said, "Maybe." This, in a way, in a certain sense, reflects a fundamentally Taoistic attitude, which is that the whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it is really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequences of the misfortune, or you never know what will be the consequences of good fortune.